And welcome to another episode of Too Much Pod Tar. Today is August 28th, and it's, Jackie Robinson Day for this season. Obviously, it's every other year it's on April 15th. Um, but, obviously this year there was no games played on that day because of COVID and everything. So now the official celebration for this season is today. So everybody every team is going to be wearing number 42, of course, to celebrate Jackie Robinson. And yep, I'm back, Alex Keeler, your host, for a DFS pod for tonight. Sorry I skipped yesterday because I just was I just did not feel like um, that there was going to be that many games played because of all the protests and all that stuff. Just I if I did it, it would. I know I obviously, and then a bunch of games did end up getting postponed. Um, so, but today it's Jackie Robinson Day, so it should be played. Like he would want everybody to play, so they're going to be playing games today. But I'm not going to get into details about the whole situation, how I feel about it. I'm on one side of it, and I'm completely on that side. But I'm not going to say what side. I'm not just to keep that discussion out of this because I don't want to get political. I don't want to get anything like that. I just want to talk DFS, help you win some money and all that, and keep the other stuff out. Um, but yeah, tonight's slate is 12 games at 7:05. It starts, so it's a pretty nice slate of games. So I'll be giving you some pitchers, hitters, and stacks that you can go with for tonight. Um, and we'll be doing DFS, of course, continuing every day, but then also not Friday, and then also on Sunday, we will be recording a trade deadline show, which then will probably be out Monday morning or something like that, or right away, like on Sunday, whenever I get to editing it. But it'll be out, either Monday night either Sunday night or Monday morning. Before the deadline at 4 o'clock Eastern time on Monday. So, but anyway, let's jump into some pitchers. Um, so, at the top, you got Max Scherzer against the Red Sox. He was scheduled to start, Thursday, but that was postponed because of all that stuff going on with their um, not playing, choosing not to play, following the NBA's footsteps and all that. But anyway, but he's pushed back to today against the Red Sox, and his last start he did struggle against Miami. He only went 4 2/3, 4 earned runs, 1 home run, 5 strikeouts, 2 walks, only 6.5 points on DraftKings, and but other than that too, he back to back kind of not that great starts. He did go 7 innings the one before against the Orioles, but gave up 5 runs, including 3 home runs. But struck out 10, just walked 1. So, he's struck out 44 to walk 13 over 31 in the third innings this season. He faces a Red Sox lineup who has struggled pretty good amount this year, along with their pitching. They're kind of, it seems like they just don't hit, like they have a good lineup, but it just seems like because they don't have good pitching, they just don't have motivation to hit. Because they're gonna have to. I mean, they're forced to score like at least 6 or 7 runs every game. So it's just, I don't know. I think Scherzer's gonna come out and dominate. Even though his last start was 6 days ago now, um, but I think with the extra rest will actually help him too bounce back from those last two previous bumpy starts, especially the last one only going 4 2/3. Should be able to go pretty far. There was 108 pitches in that one when he went 4 2/3. I think this time around he'll definitely have more of his stuff. He'll be able to have more control and be. I think he can dominate. But as you look down, um, it's not too many great matchups. I do like Zach Gallen, 9,700. He's facing off against the Giants. He's had a great season this year. 42 strikeouts, 12 walks, and 36 innings. 6 starts. And his last start against the last start was against the Giants as well. And 6 days ago, he struck out 6, walked 4, went 6 innings, just gave up 3 hits, gave up 1 run. So that was a solid start against the same team. But you never know. He could end up coming out since this second straight start against the same team, against Giants, who of course don't have the greatest offense in the world, but they they always have a chance of hitting some bombs. So and scoring some runs. They always have that off chance of doing it. So you never know. It could be today, second straight time to seeing Gallen. So it's possible that they end up getting some adjustments on him and it can hit him around a little bit. So I definitely see you rolling with him though for one of your pitchers, but I would stay a little. I would be extra careful. And I could actually see that even maybe doing a little mini stack of the Giants against him because I could definitely see his ownership being up because of the fact he's been pitching well and he pitched against the Giants last, who he pitched well against. But I could see guys in that lineup doing well, like Mike Yastrzemski, who's been hitting the ball well. Um, it's 11 for his last 42 home runs, and he's got 7 home runs on the year. So I could definitely see him hitting Gallen. So he's 5.4K, and he's facing Gallen's a righty. He's a lefty, so it's a good matchup as well. Some other guys, Donovan Solano, who's been having a great season, 4.3K. Evan Longoria and even Joey Bart batting 8th. He's played 6 games, made his debut a few days. I think it was a week ago now. He hasn't done anything that special yet, as of yet. Just 4 hits and 20 at bats. Struck out 10 times, walked once, 1 RBI. So really, ever since his first game, he hasn't really done anything much. Just a couple hits. He's only had he only had up to. He only has had 1 hit, and anytime he's gotten a hit, it's only been 1. He hasn't had any multi-hit games yet, but I can see him maybe doing that today if they end up hitting well. But you got Evan Longoria batting 3rd. That can be an option. He's hitting the ball pretty well this season, and his, not to brag, but I did call him hitting a home run against Robbie Ray the last time the Giants Diamondbacks played, and Ray was on the mound, and I called Evan Longoria hitting a home run off him. So maybe he'll hit one off Gallen today. But yeah, batting 3rd, that's a solid positioning. You got Yaz leading off, who can get on base with eh, 408 on base percentage so far this year, and then you got Alex Dickerson batting second, who's not, he hasn't really hit that well. Only 208 batting average, 308 on base percentage. But then you got Longoria, and then after Longoria is Brandon Belt, who's hitting 300 this year right now. He's had 4 home runs over his last 10 games. 2 home runs against the Dodgers just a few days ago, on the 25th. At 2 home runs, 5 RBIs, 4 for 5. That was 44 points. So that's good protection for Longoria. So they'll probably be pitching him. They'll have to be forced to pitch him. Gallen will be forced to pitch him the rest of the bolt when get to the bullpen. So I can definitely see some of these guys mashing the ball today for the Giants, who can definitely have their share of some. Like, they obviously don't have that great of an offense, but overall, they can have some games that they do end up mashing, especially when they have some. They have Yaz at the top, who's a lefty, leading off. Other than that, they have Dickerson, who is also a lefty, who's batting second, and they have Belt, who's a lefty. So they have some lefties in there. Braden Crawford's a lefty. So, most of their hitters are righties, but they do have some lefties. Oh, they have 4 lefties. And Yaz, Dickerson, Belt, and Crawford. But so they do have their share of lefties facing off against a righty, which definitely could see that being a solid matchup. So either way, I don't know. It's tough with that. With the facing off Gallen, who's been pretty good this year, and was good against them the last time out. So it's kind of just feeling it out a little bit, seeing what the ownership is for Gallen, and maybe doing a stack, and going against the Gallen ownership, depending on how high it is. Like I've said before, that's kind of more of a play that you do if you're doing more than one lineup. If you're just doing one lineup, I wouldn't really risk it, because the Giants' offense could be just shut down. But that could be a potential just kind of flyer stack there. But other than that, going back to pitchers, you got Kyle Hendricks, who he hasn't been that great this year. He has 28. He only has 28 strikeouts, 38 innings. So strikeout numbers aren't really there. And his last time out was against the White Sox, who put up three runs, including 2 home runs. And he went 5 1/3, took the loss. And he faces a tough matchup today against the Reds, who are kind of, they're coming off a good series. I think they swept the last series, but they're kind of up and down as far as they have a lot of potential to blow up any game, like hit a bunch of mash, but sometimes they're up and down. They're not really they don't always have the most consistent offense in the world, but they can definitely mash. So I would probably stay away from Hendricks, because I think he can be hit around a little bit today, especially as you saw his last start getting hit around against a good lineup in the White Sox. So I could definitely see him getting hit around. But other than that, somebody I would definitely fade from is Zach Davies in Colorado. Zach Davies has been solid this year. His last start, he went 8 innings, gave up 2 runs, including a home run, 7 strikeouts, 2 walks against Houston, and he struck out 31 over 35 and 2/3 innings, 6 starts. Um, he's only given up 3 home runs so far, but it's in Colorado, and I don't know. I just never trust any pitchers in Colorado to do good, but could be somebody you go with, as a risk move. It's a high risk, but also high reward, of course, because he could go out and have a phenomenal game and shut them down. So you never know, but I could definitely see fading him as well. I just don't. I don't know. I'm scared of any pitchers pitching the quarters. Um, let's see here, but somebody that's more of a value pick would be Corbin Burns of the Brewers pitching against the Pirates. He's struck out 36 and 26 in the 3rd innings, and his ERA right now sits at 3.42. Last start, he didn't do so hot. It was against the same Pirates, actually. 3 earned runs over 5 1/3. He took the no decision. Struck out 7, 2 walks, so it wasn't terrible. But I think he can. He's facing off the Pirates just 5 days later again, so I think he can definitely shut them down this time around. Not even give up more than a run or 2, and probably have similar strikeout numbers. 7 strikeouts the last time. I think he had more this time. Just the only thing is you don't know if he'll get the win because the Brewers lineup is not that great either. So it's probably end up getting a no decision again. But I could definitely see him going 6 innings. He only went 5 1/3 the last time. I think he can go deeper into the game this time around. That last start was 87 pitches. He's been working up to more pitches each start. Back on August 8th, he was at 77. Well, then he went back down to 69. Nice. Start after that. But then after that, he went up to 83, and then 87 his last time. So I can definitely see him getting up to 90, maybe 95. 95 it's probably his max, but I think he can get up to that and then go 6 innings, striking out maybe 7 or 8 guys. So he'll be able to put up points. So that's definitely an option, value option. Another really solid value option is Tristan McKenzie at 6.6K of the Indians. Made his major league debut. His last start on the 22nd, and he was phenomenal. Went 6 innings, just gave up 2 hits, 1 run, which was on a home run, 1 walk, and he struck out 10. Only had 80 pitches, 33.7 points on DraftKings. That was against Detroit, so I don't know if he'll be as dominant this time around. Facing off against a better offense in the Cardinals, but definitely an option. At that price, you can't really go wrong. Just as somebody to throw out there and see what happens. Because he's so great in his first start, but second start could be rougher, especially as I said against the better offense. So I would just be careful with that. I don't. It's just tough. It's really tough against doing that because you don't know what he's going to do here. And his second start, obviously, was so dominant in the first one, but just it's hard to really pinpoint what he's going to do. Of course, I mean, it's always so tough. But yeah, that's somebody you can go with maybe one lineup, and then if you do more than one, I don't think I would go with it if I'm doing one lineup only. because that's just too much of a risk for him to blow up. Well, it's only a second start. He's a rookie still. He's probably going to have a lot of nervousness and nerves going, but it's definitely a solid value option if you want to roll with that. Definitely could pay off. Um, so, um, and then let's see here. And then just another note: Sixto Sanchez is starting against the Rays, 5.9K. Um, he's making his second start. He won won five his first start. Gave up 3 runs, 2 home runs, 6 hits, 4 Ks, no walks. Um, I would I would stay away from him, but it's just interesting to see what he does today. And then moving forward, maybe you can use him. And he had some dominant stuff. He showed flashes of excellence in that first start, but against the Rays offense, who's potent, I would definitely stay away. But just interesting to see. I would take a deep look at that to see what he does. I would definitely gonna be paying attention, see what he does, and then in future starts, maybe roll with him. But I'm gonna roll up to some hitters now. See what kind of guys you can use. Um, of course, as always, Fernando Tatis Jr., our most expensive hitter, 6.2K, and he's in Colorado facing off against Kyle Freeland. So you can't go wrong with him. You can't go wrong with Trout, as always. And then Bryce Harper against uh, the Braves and Erlin. Um, Harper's been on a pretty good roll here. He's 9 for his last 33 with 3 home runs over his last 10 games. He has 7 home runs on the season. And, facing off, as I said, against Erlin, who is who's a lefty. I definitely like that matchup for Harper. So Harper's an option, of course. Corey Seager at Texas against Mike Minor. And I said Yastrzemski, he's definitely a solid option against Zach Gallen. I like Freddie Freeman against Zach Wheeler, who I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I know his numbers against him in the past are pretty solid. So I like that matchup. And you can go with other Phillies along with Harper. JT Realmuto, Didi Gregorius. Then also I like Eloy Jimenez against Danny Duffy. I like a lot of the other White Sox hitters. Jose Abreu, who's been on a roll. He had, I believe, it was 12 home runs and I think 12 home runs in 10 games or something like that. I think. Or no, it was 8 home runs in 12. Oh yeah, it was 8 home runs in like 11 games, or 12 games, something like that. But he's on a roll. That's definitely an option to go with in that lineup. Ronald Acuna Jr. came back his first game back against the Yankees the other day. He hit a home run. And in the doubleheader, he went 2 for 5 with a run scored. I mean, an additional run scored other than the home run. But yeah, his first at bat back, he had a 473-foot home run off of who else but Garrett Cole. I mean, You can't do anything. You can't do better than that, hitting a home run off of Garrett Cole from 473 feet. So I would definitely roll with him. And he also had a stolen base in that game as well. So he's a great option to go with coming back, and he's gonna go on a tear and be in that conversation, or try to bounce back into that MVP conversation. I think I'm trying to think right now. Well, obviously, right now Tatis is probably the favorite for MVP. So Acuna's gonna have to catch up a lot to him, and in such a short season, it's gonna be tough. Really, but he can definitely get back into it, I believe, especially if he keeps it up like that. Other guys I like Jake Cronenworth as me and Joey's boy. Um, Another guy in the Padres lineup. And I would probably go with another Padres stack. I'd probably stack both sides of the Padres Rockies game, but I would definitely lean more heavily towards the Padres against Freeland. They can definitely mash there, as they've had for the for the whole season. The Slam Diego Padres, So Ian Happ, also Joey's boy, at his price is a little bit higher, but it's still just 4.4K, so he's pretty low still. And he's been raking 3 hits in his last game. Um, so that's an option. But those are my main guys. Also, Horace Allaire potentially against what's his name, Lopez of the White Sox. I forget his first name. What the hell is his first name? Oh, Reynaldo Lopez. He's only started 2 games this year, and he's only gone 4 innings total, 3 1/3 the last time, 2/3 the first start. Gave up 4 earned runs the first start in those 2/3 innings, or that 2/3 of an inning, I should say, and then 2 earned in his last one. So, yeah, his first start was negative 9.5 points, and then, his second start came like almost a month later. Um, so he missed a lot of time with shoulder injury. He almost missed a month, of course, and so I like some of those KC hitters as well. So, but Soler is the main guy that I like there. I'm going with a one-off. I would probably like Soler. Um, I mean, he hasn't had that great of a season so far, but I also like Merrifield, Hunter Dozier, who's had a pretty solid last few games. 9 for 34, 3 home runs last 10. So I can see that. I could see rolling with that. But yeah, that's kind of just the ones I wanted to roll through. I'm not gonna go into too much detail, but that's some of my picks. I said I went with stacks already. I kind of mentioned stacks going through that. But let's see. I'm gonna go with my home run call now. Let me think here for a second. And for my home run call, I'm gonna go. Um, I'm gonna go with Yastrzemski, Mike Yastrzemski. I'm gonna go say him. He hits a home run off a gallon, and he paces the Giants' offense to have a solid day tonight. And yeah, that's it. I'm gonna go with that. And as always, we'll be back again tomorrow. Or at least I will. I will see if anybody else is gonna be on, like Joey or Johnny or anybody. But yeah, that's today's pod. Just a reminder, you can never, ever, ever, ever have too much pod tour or DFS. Peace out. Always start Mike Trout.